Hi, I'm Ayla, and for over a decade I've been dedicated to helping entrepreneurs thrive. Welcome to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. Here we focus on personal growth so your business can grow alongside you. Discover how to optimize your business, elevate your mindset, and truly feel and act like a CEO. This is more than just business, it's about transforming your entire entrepreneurial journey. Join me on this path to unlock your fullest potential. You are listening to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. And for today's episode, I made a full-on script. Sometimes I go rogue, but for this subject, I really needed a script because it hits so close to home. And I didn't want it to either turn into a sob story or an enormous rant. And the subject, you ask, is a problem I think many women have, maybe even most. It's the fact that women store their stress in their bodies and end up living their days in either discomfort or full-on pain. And it's a personal subject that I wanted to share because the outcome of this, storing stress in your body, affects the way that you show up in your business, which is why I think it's a subject many women can profit about, to at least think about it for a moment. It's something I'm an involuntary expert in, but I've decided to use it to my advantage, and I hope that this episode will teach you something on how it can help you in any way. Okay, so let's kick it off with a fact. Women store their stress in their bodies. It's scientifically proven we do this. Men, they do it less. They are better at compartmentalizing it, which is why it affects them overall less. They can push it away until they get to reopen that box where they have stored that stress, while for women, we store it in our bodies. And maybe that's the difference. They store it in their brain, we do it in our bodies. This could be a headache coming up on Christmas morning. It could be a heavier period pain in times of work stress. It can be an ongoing back pain that you just can't figure out how to get rid of it. This is what we do. And the reason this hits close to home for me is the fact that I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia when I was about 15 or 16. And even admitting that out loud is massively uncomfortable for me, because when it comes to physical diseases, for lack of a better word, like fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome, people have opinions. Oh, opinions, big ones. I also have an opinion on it, but my zone of genius is giving people another perspective on their problems or opinions. So here's my take on it, and I hope it gives you an insight that helps with storing or not storing stress in your body. So here's what I dealt with. From the age of 15, 14, I don't know, I got these pains. I think it started when I tore my meniscus. I'm not sure if that's the English word as well. I just wrote it down. It's like a thing in your knee. I tore it and I got operated on it. It's a minor surgery and a lot of people get it. But to recover from it, I had to have an operation on my knee. I had to walk with crutches, and those crutches just never went away. First it was my one knee, and then it was my other knee as well. Both knees hurt like hell. So I walked with my crutches like a little spider, one crutch for each knee, like I had 4 legs. It got so bad that I had to be carted around in a wheelchair every now and again. Like a school trip to London, it was a moment where it just was really bad, and my friends had to push me around the city, and they were so sweet. They carried my wheelchair down like those endless stairs in the London subway stations, and it was so sweet of them, and I felt so bad about it, and not fun. From there on out, it just got worse. I started dislocating my shoulder very often, which meant that I had to have my arm in a sling more often than not, which is really not great if you also had to walk in crutches, and then, the wheelchair came back into view because you can't walk with crutches if your arm's in a sling. And my hips, they got so bad that it's sort of scared of potential boyfriends because, what you use your hips for. They were afraid to break me. And my fingers hurt all the time. And it was so bad that I was the one person in like the big hall where everybody does their exams. I was the one person who was allowed to do the tests on a laptop instead of written with a pen. And in the slipstream of all this, you can just see getting a normal youth getting less fun each day. I had to give up horseback riding which was my most favorite thing in the world to do. I couldn't ride my bike with the rest of a group of friends. I had to use a scooter to get around. And it isolated me enormously and singled me out as the weird one, the weak one, which is not fun when you're young to be singled out like that. This was all in the period of 15 to 25. It's not a great age to be attracting that type of attention. It never is, but when you're growing up, it really isn't. Because, as I said, people have opinions, and people would very often tell me their opinions on this without me having to ask for it. They would just come up to me, like people I hardly knew. They were just coming up to me saying, "You're just doing this for the attention. You're making it all up." And this would happen. Sorry, I had to laugh about my own tone, but that's basically, we're talking high school here. That's what kids do. And it happened so very often. At one point, even my best friend in the whole wide world, she came out to me saying, "I don't believe you have anything, because one day you're running up the stairs and you're hauling boxes, and the next day you can't do anything at all because you're in so much pain." And that last part always stung me the most, because there's a clear correlation there. But that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, basically, that was my life. I had people all around me. I was attracting attention because of all the things that I had to use to just live. And then people would tell me it was bullshit and I was making it up. And you go on and you defend yourself because you're in a lot of freaking pain. So no, of course you're not making it up. And you feel the need to defend yourself and reason it away or something. Well, it wasn't fun. So that was my life. And then one magical day, the pain went away. And it was more like a year, and it never fully went away. But I didn't need the slings anymore, or the crutches, or the braces for my fingers. And you know what I did in that one magical year? I went to therapy. And now I can just see people with pain issues zapping away, because this sounds like it leads to another, it's all between your ears. But bear with me, okay? If you have a chronic disease that falls under the umbrella of, we don't know exactly what you have, but you're in pain, so here's a label, I have explanations. I think I have explanations. I'm not an all-knowing being, but I went through it, so I think I have some explanations. Therapy. The magic that is therapy. I think everyone should be in therapy all of the time, or at least be coached. To me, there is nothing better than to step away from your inner world, looking at it from a different perspective, and then getting an aha moment. So here's my take on what happened for me. I underlined this in my script, for me, and I hope that this can help someone else too. I'm not saying it will. I'm not a medical specialist. I'm not a psychologist or something at all. This is what happened for me, okay? And it was twofold. On the one hand, I think it was physiologically, beautiful word, I was in pain. That was the one part of it, like I was in pain. And on the other hand, I was also told that I had a weak body. I have been told that for all of my life. And so, of course, these two things were gonna combine in my head. I've always been hypermobile, which means that my joints can bend a lot further than most people's. And for as long as I can remember, my family therefore treated me as weak. I was always told to be careful, to not do things because I might strain an ankle, to wear ugly freaking shoes because they were better for my body needed the support, etc. And when you hear that all of your youth, it's going to leave a mark. Your body is weak. And then the other part was the physical stuff. Being hypermobile with joints flying all over the place, it means that your body is gonna tighten up. It's gonna create muscle tension in order to keep those joints in their sockets, quite literally. And if you don't know how to handle these factors combined, you're gonna get really stressed. And so for me, when it all started, there is another factor, a third factor in there, and that is a limiting belief I had about not being worthy of friendship with cool people. Honestly, this is still something I'm working on to this day. If I deem someone very cool, I will feel unworthy in their presence. And you guessed it, this all started at a time that I got in with the cool kids. So I think that for me, there was the emotional part, there was the physical part, and I think a part where I was just upper limiting myself, blocking the option of officially belonging in the group of cool people. Limiting beliefs and how to handle those and upper limiting is such a cool subject, but it's for another episode. So I'll leave that part out of the equation for now. So for me, and this is one of the things I want you to take away from listening to this, what the sum of circumstances means is that there is no one reason for your physical state. It can come from a set of different circumstances, and you need to look at the bigger picture to grasp that and to deal with the pain or discomfort. Women store their stress in their bodies, but dealing with a deadline at work won't solve it if you are telling yourself since high school that you are prone to headaches. While back in the day, you just used those headaches to get out of gym class. How you speak to yourself about pain and stress makes a gigantic impact. So, circling back to my own story of dealing with pain, it comes down to this. On the one hand, you can't go around saying to people or to yourself, for that matter, it's your body. Your body is weak. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that, etc. And it's actually on the same hand, you absolutely cannot go around saying that it's all made up and in between your ears. You cannot look into another person's body. If I would punch you in the jaw right now, I can't say that's not pain, you're making that up. Because I don't know how much it hurts exactly and if you can just walk it off or if you got all dizzy and maybe you need to lay down for a bit. That is up for the person who has the pain to decide, and why you need to stay in touch with your body. It's why you need to do body scans. It's why you need to allow yourself to really feel what's going on. And that is the second thing that I wanted you to hear is feel it, really feel it, tap into the pain, listen to what your body and your intuition are telling you and act on that. Whether it's lying down or punching the pain out at the gym, you are the only person who can decide that, and you need to honor your body by listening to it, okay? So, nowadays, can they prove that fibromyalgia is real by showing it in the brain? Yes, they can. Can they also prove that you can manipulate your own brain waves by meditating and thinking positive thoughts? Yes, they also can. So does that mean that you can heal yourself from things like pain? I think you could, but maybe not everyone can, or maybe in some parts. So all of this to say, you can overcome anything in any way that works for you. You want to go all in and become a brain warrior and make your pain disappear? You do that. You want to give in to this pain and create a life around it? Then that is fine too. I mean this. The way you handle things is up to you and nobody else. All I'm saying is, whatever you do it with grace. If you decide to live with the pain, don't make it somebody else's problem. And if you decide to work the hardest you can and ignore or overcome the pain, don't mock others who don't do that. You don't need to let others tell you what you feel and what you don't feel. Well, I went on a rant anyway, didn't I? Yeah. So for me, at this moment in time, being in pain means that there's something out of alignment. And this is why earlier I said that for me, where it stopped was the year of therapy. Because in that year, there was a lot of stuff that I worked through. There was a lot of stuff that I got into alignment by letting go of things that weren't for me. Well, you know, what you do in therapy. And so when I got more into alignment, it meant that my pain got less because I was less stressed about everything. I was less, worried, traumatized, anything. Being more relaxed in my head caused me to be more relaxed in my body. And then everything went better. And that means that right now, when I notice it the other way around, when I have more pain in my body, it means that something is not in alignment anymore. Anything at all in my life, it can be both positive and it can be negative. I'm usually in more pain, for example, when my mom comes to visit because it's giving me stress. It can be creative energy that I'm keeping cooped up. It can be a fight that I need to have with my husband, but that I'm reasoning away in his advantage and having that fight over and over and over and over in my head. It can be the fact that I really need to change the cat's litter box, but I really don't want to. It can be anything. I store my stress physically like most women do. And can I align every detail in my life all day, every day? Maybe one day, but today is not that day. Can I do my best to align everything and gracefully accept the consequences if I don't? Yes, that I can do. If you're still here this is long. If you're still here, I applaud you. It's a very specific subject and it's not for everyone. So thank you for tuning in and for staying with me. And I hope there are a few things that you can take away from my story, from the fact that I'm sharing this with you. Listen to your body, stay in touch with it, and allow yourself to feel. Sit down with it, do that body scan, feel what your body is feeling. Second, do not ever let others tell you what you feel, what you should feel, what you shouldn't feel. Is so important. Step away from yourself if you are experiencing physical pain or discomfort and look at the bigger picture. What is going on in all levels of your life that can affect your body? And especially if pain has taken over your life, go to therapy, please. Don't try to take on the world alone. It does absolutely not mean that you are admitting to making it all up or that it's between your ears. No, it means that you're in a bad situation and that you want to get out of that bad situation. And that's courageous and that's not weak. Please, please, please remember that if you are on the threshold of whether or not you should seek out professional help, seeking help is courageous, is not weak, okay? Then what I think is also very important is find a physical way to help with your pain. For me, it's the Zen things. Somatic exercise helps enormously. Yoga helps me as well. At the same time, I need and want to be physically as strong as possible. So lifting weights, strengthening exercises, find out what it is for you. It can be swimming, walking, Zumba classes. I don't care. If it makes your head happy, it's bound to make your body happy too. Find what it is for you that will help you physically and stick to a regular routine incorporating that. And the last thing I have, maybe not the last, I don't know. Invest in some good stuff for your office. Find a chair that helps with your posture, an ergonomic keyboard, an extra screen. Heck, you can buy glasses to block out blue light, whatnot. The world is your oyster. There are gadgets for gadgets, all kinds of products. And you need a good bed since you spend a big part of your day in it. You also need a good setup for your office. Make sure that you have make your body as comfortable as it can be. Okay, last one, officially last one. Always be kind to yourself and to those around you. Have some sympathy and don't judge too harshly. You don't know what's going on in other people's lives. And if you go around being unkind to people who are having trouble, whether it's physical, mental, whatever, be kind, please. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. That's it. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope that you, if you're still here, you got something from it, because otherwise you wouldn't still be here. If this was helpful to you in some way, come over to Instagram and send me a DM. It would be very lovely to hear from you. All right, see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. I hope you loved what you heard today. And if you did, it would mean a world to me if you could leave a review. Because believe it or not, reviews on podcasts are actually still used to make sure more people get to see this podcast in their screens and maybe click on it and learn something as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.